So, Transcendentalism is something that I want to talk about because I was almost named Emerson after Ralph Waldo Emerson. So I was going to be named after one of the key figures that I'm going to be talking about in this video. So it's very near and dear to my heart. And in college I took this class that was an environmental writing class where we would go write in the woods, and it was one of my favorite classes, and it feels so related to this concept. What if truth wasn't something you had to search for outside of yourself, but something that you could feel within? What if nature, intuition, and your inner voice were the greatest teachers you could have? In this video, we're exploring the Transcendentalist movement, what it was, what it taught, and why its message still feels so relevant today. So what was the Transcendentalist movement? Transcendentalism was a spiritual and philosophical movement that began in the early 1800s in New England. It was centered around the belief that truth comes from within, nature is sacred, and every person has a direct connection to the divine. Rather than relying only on an organized religion or societal rules, Transcendentalists believed in personal intuition and inner knowing. Key figures. Some of the most well-known voices of this movement include Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau. Emerson spoke about self-reliance, intuition, and the divine within each person. And Thoreau is known for living simply in nature and writing about his experiences at Walden Pond, showing that a deeper and more meaningful life comes from slowing down and reconnecting with the earth. And this is Walden, and I've actually been to Walden. It was a very spiritual experience going there. It was very peaceful, and I could picture like him living there and writing and getting so much out of just being by this pond and in the woods by himself in solitude and connecting with nature to connect with God and the divine. Core beliefs. At its heart, Transcendentalism teaches the divine exists within everyone. Nature is a direct expression of spirit. Intuition is more powerful than external authority, and simplicity leads to clarity and truth. This movement encouraged people to trust themselves and to see the sacred in everyday life. Connection to nature and spirituality. Transcendentalists believe that nature wasn't just something to observe, it was something to experience deeply. Spending time in nature was seen as a way to connect with the divine, clear the mind, gain insight and inspiration. This is why their teachings feel so aligned with modern practices like grounding, mindfulness, and spiritual awakening. Why it still matters today. Even though this movement began over 200 years ago, its message is more relevant than ever. In a fast-paced, disconnected world, Transcendentalism reminds us to slow down, to trust our intuition, to reconnect with nature, and to find meaning within ourselves. It's not just a philosophy, it's a way of living. Marshmallow, come here! Come here! The Transcendentalist movement teaches us that we don't need to search endlessly for truth, because the connection we're seeking to nature, to spirit, and to meaning has been within us the whole time. I felt like doing a video about this because it feels super pertinent. The Transcendentalist movement was something that was happening around the Civil War and a very divisive time. And I think it was supportive to where people came out of that divisive time. And I think looking at it now, returning to the idea of, living this way with spirituality and nature an inner knowing at the forefront is something that can sustain us in big transitions and in transformation. And it helps us to have a firm bedrock, to have our spiritual house on a firm bedrock. That's how it feels to me, and that's why I wanted to share it and felt like it was so important. I hope you enjoyed this video today, and thank you. Thank you for being here.